A high school girl in Michigan was cyberbullied for more than a year, sometimes receiving up to 12 threatening messages a day.
And who turned out to be the suspect shocked everyone.
Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, come back, don't come around no more. Trouble, stay away from my door. Never stay away from my home. Never stay away from my home. Never go back and leave my soul alone. Never stay away from my home. Never come around me no more. Never come around me no more.
So when we got here, there was unexpectedly students painting their senior parking spots, and they're kind of directly in front of us here. Therefore, I'm not going to get out and walk around the property and talk. If you have not watched the new Netflix series, Unknown Number, High School Catfishing, I urge you to watch it. It is the most insane thing that I've ever watched in my life. The story rather, takes place here in Beal City, Michigan, a very small rural area where the elementary, junior high, and high school are all in one building, and it's not that big. And you're looking at it right here. This is the high school where the students went, where all of this took place. So the story takes place in Beal City, Michigan, which is a rural community near Mount Pleasant, Michigan, with fewer than 400 or so residents. It's the kind of place where everybody knows everybody and secrets do not last long. Well, in October of 2020, 13-year-old Lauren Licari, who was a bright middle school student, began dating Owen McKinney, who was a classmate and a basketball player. Now, Lauren and Owen had known each other since elementary school. However, they decided to start dating around the age of 13. And at first, life seemed kind of typical for the young teens in a small town. School, sports, friends. But then the text started. The very first text to Lauren was simple and seemed harmless. It said, "Hi, Lauren. Owen is breaking up with you." Now, this came from an unknown number. At first, her and Owen kind of laughed it off. They just thought it was a friend or maybe somebody that Owen knew from school. But within a few weeks, the tone turned ugly. More and more messages appeared, sometimes dozens a day. And by the fall of 2021, the harassment had escalated into a full onslaught. 40 to 50 messages every single day. And these texts included graphic insults about Lauren's appearance, sexual comments that no teenager really ever needed to hear, and even demands that Lauren should end her own life. And the messages didn't just target Lauren, they targeted Owen too. So as this went on, more and more people sort of found out about this. It was brought to the attention of the school superintendent and the principal, who kind of brushed it off at first and told the teens' parents to just block the numbers or buy them new cell phones with different numbers or just change the numbers altogether. However, some suspicion did start to fall on some people that were close to them, some classmates, namely Chloe Wilson, who was a friend of Owen's, and she was accused of running fake accounts up to that point. Of course, she denied it, but the damage was done after she had been accused. So Chloe's parents Craig and Tammy Wilson, they tried desperately to protect their daughter's reputation. Now, Craig was a police officer, so those who were accusing Chloe of this crime thought that maybe she had some pull due to her father being on the police force. And then Adriana, who was Owen's cousin, also came under suspicion after investigators suggested that the harassment may be coming from somebody within their inner social circle. The accusations tore friendships apart. Families who once shared dinners and car rides to basketball games now kind of looked at each other with suspicion. Nobody knew who was doing this, and everybody was desperate to find out. By 2022, Lauren and Owen's relationship had kind of collapsed. This was just getting to both of them, and Owen was having some negative thoughts, and the couple thought breaking up might end the harassment, but that only intensified it. So texts continued to pour in daily, sometimes from multiple numbers, and whoever was behind this seemed pretty determined to make Lauren's life absolutely miserable. Now, at this point, the police become involved. Local Sheriff Mike Main took lead on this and decided to try and see what resources were available to him to figure this out. He was also assisted by Beal City police officer Bradley Peter, and at first they tried standard investigation methods. They talked to students, talked to families, talked to parents, principals, teachers, all that good stuff, but the messages were coming from apps that would mask the phone numbers and rerouted IP addresses, I assume maybe through a VPN or something like that. But eventually the case reached the FBI's computer crimes unit after Sheriff Mike Main determined that he had exhausted all the resources that were available to him. This right here would be the Isabella County Sheriff's Department. This is where Mike Main would work out of. Sheriff Mike Main and Beal City Police Officer Bradley Peter contacted the FBI, who turned the case over to the Computer Crimes Unit. And by using advanced digital forensics, they were able to trace the origins of the messages. And the results were completely stunning to pretty much everybody involved. So in December of 2022, Sheriff Mike Main and the FBI have their suspect. They head to the house to make an arrest, and you'll never guess who it is. If you don't want to know, click off the video right now. The person who's been doing all this text messaging for the previous 2 years is none other than, yes, Kendra Licari. Who would have thought? Lauren's own mother? So when Sheriff Mike Main had arrived, she confessed to everything. She said that she had been the one behind the messages. And when pressed on why, she said that she was struggling with her own mental health. She admitted being sexually assaulted when she was Lauren's age, claiming that it had left her scarred and overprotective in some twisted ways. In March of 2023, Kendra Licari pled guilty to 2 counts of stalking a minor. The judge sentenced her to the maximum sentence of 19 months to 5 years in prison. Now, she served a little over a year before being released on parole in August of 2024. And as part of her parole conditions, she was barred from contacting Lauren until at least 2026. Now, Lauren had been in contact with her mother while she was in prison, and they seemed like they had a decent relationship. They would kind of send each other funny things and say, "I love you," and they would just talk like a mother and daughter who never had this happen. It's kind of crazy. But as time went on, for Lauren, the betrayal was just devastating. By 2024, she had turned 18, and instead of focusing on prom and graduation, she was trying to rebuild her life from the trauma that her own mother had inflicted. Now, during this time, her mother was in prison. She had become very, very close with her dad, Sean, and he had actually gotten full custody of her right after Kendra had went to prison. Now, I was able to find the Licari homes, the home where this all happened and where Kendra was arrested, and I believe the new home of Sean Licari and Lauren. However, we're not going to go there. I would like to respect their privacy, of course. This is all very fresh, and I'm sure it's probably overwhelming to everybody involved, as Lauren was only 13 and is currently only 18 or 19. So we're not going to go to their house. And I do know that Kendra is living somewhere in Pontiac, Michigan, I believe with her parents. So she is not even in the area of where Sean and Lauren are currently. As for their relationship now, I'm not sure. I haven't really seen anything concrete as to how their relationship is now. There's a lot of speculation. I'm sure you're seeing nothing but opinions and memes about this whole entire crazy story on Facebook. I have seen where some people said that Sean and Lauren had known about this for a month or two. They'd figured it out. How could Sean not know that she wasn't working or had gotten fired from her job? I don't know. That's all speculation, so I'm not going to say that that is the case. So this is the craziest thing I've ever watched, that's for sure. Have you watched it yet? If you have, or if you haven't, go ahead and watch it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the entire situation. It's just absolutely crazy. I just wanted to come up here to Beal City and just show you all what things around here look like and show you the school that Owen and Lauren went to when this all transpired. So once again, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And as always, please subscribe and thanks for watching.